ChessDiagnostic.
Hello everybody and welcome to ChessDiagnostic. Today we're going to look at a game between Capablanca and Charles Jaffe, and this was played in 1910. Now Capablanca always preferred very simple openings and development because he could always outplay his opponent in the middle game and in the endgame. Now he's renowned for his endgame skills, but it was really his middle game skills that gave him all his wins, because he was able to outplay the opponent in the middle game and he would just nurse that advantage into the endgame. That's not what we see here. We just see a tactical blowout in 20 moves. So it starts with d4, d5, knight to f3, knight to f6, e3, c6, c4, e6. So we just get a basic queen's pawn opening, kind of a Cole system, queen's gambit declined, just a mishmash. There's really no accuracy that's needed here because both players are just developing their pieces. Now the main issue for black is that he's a little cramped, and so Capablanca takes advantage of that when they head into the middle game. We still see development with knight to d7, bishop to d3, bishop to d6, castle, castle, and now here we are with e4. So with e4, he's opening lines for his bishops. Now notice he has these two potentially powerful bishops, while black is sitting cramped with these pieces here on the queen side. So he immediately wants to open the position and start an attack. Now black makes a slight inaccuracy. He should have taken on c4 to keep the center somewhat closed for white, but instead he plays d takes e4, which actually allows white easy development. Now even after knight to f6 and these trades here, after bishop to c2, black is going to face some trouble with a kingside attack, and he has some issues getting this light square bishop developed. Now the key lesson I want to make from this game is when you're under an attack, you should not be moving your pawns in front of your king if you can help it, because each pawn move creates a weakness, and in this game it's quite a quick crush because Capablanca's opponent doesn't really understand this, or if he does, he didn't really find the accurate moves. So we'll take a look at those here. After b3 and b6, now a better move would have been to play c5, immediately contesting the center and trying to undermine this d4 pawn, as well as with ideas of e5 and bringing the bishop to either f5 or g4 eventually. So we can see that after b6, Capablanca plays bishop to b2, and these two bishops are about to become very powerful with the idea of d5. So it looks like black has done okay, but he's a little behind and a little cramped in his development. Capablanca makes a simple threat with queen to d3, threatening eventually a checkmate. Now, for a human, it's natural to play g6 just to stop any potential checkmate, but actually it would have been more accurate to play knight to e8 here, giving a square for his king, as well as preventing the undermining of the pawn cover. He really wanted to keep this pawn here. Instead we saw g6. So let's look at the line first. If he would have played the most accurate defense with rook to e8, we would just get these standard middle game moves, white's establishing central dominance, and actually black would have been okay. White has an advantage, but the pawn cover is intact and he'll be okay. So at g6 we see a very strong continuation with already threats of rook to e6. So he's removing another piece from this king side, maybe trying to get the queen in. But the problem is that Capablanca brings another piece into the attack with bishop to c1. Now this is a very powerful move actually, because he's already hitting this h6 pawn and bringing another piece into the attack by actually moving it back. Now the best continuation would have been to bring the knight in, and then he still has the tactic of rook takes e6. Of course, black can't take, because then we get checkmate on h7. So already there's a lot of threats just from that weakening g6 move. Instead we see king to g7. So he removed this knight to not the best square, and actually with king to g7 there's rook takes e6 already. Capablanca brings another piece, and then after the blunder c5, if you want to take a second and try to figure out white's best continuation, look at all the forcing candidates, all the checks, captures, and threats, and see if you can find the strongest continuation. Alright, so here it's actually bishop takes h6, and he could have tried to hang on with king to g8, but it's pretty much over. There's too much material lost. And at the end of the strongest line the computer suggests, there's actually a piece won. But we don't get that actually. We get the king that takes, and then it's a mate in 2 if you want to try to solve that. Knight takes f7, a very beautiful finish. And actually Capablanca's opponent resigned at this point, because there's no way to prevent the mate. If the rook takes, then we get mate on g6. If the king tries to come forward, then we get mate on h3. And if the king comes back, we still get mate on g6. Not only is mate threatened, but there's also the fork on the king and the queen as well. So this is a very beautiful must-know game between Capablanca and Jaffe. If you enjoyed this game, just leave a like, and if you have any questions, leave a comment. I'll see you in the future. Thanks for watching. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe for future videos. See you in the future.